this shot with me.
Zola, I can't. I'm driving.
Come
you know
on.
that. No, Zola, I can't drink. I'm driving.
All right.
Come on.
All right. Come on. Come on. Are you sure?
Yes, that's a Leo.
Leo.
This is Lieutenant Dave McIver with the New Glasgow Fire Department. We are on scene of what looks to be a vehicle versus a pedestrian call, and we've detached the different departments to come respond to this situation. Now, as you can hear, the first responders on the scene are the police officers that are responding on scene. Their first thing in order to do is to verify if there's any casualties. So they're walking around the scene of the accident now. They're checking for any hazards. They're checking to see who's on scene, roughly do an assessment of who needs medical care and if there's any casualties or if there's any hazards. And what you see in the video is that one of our responders immediately jumps into the back seat, and their job is to do what we call C-spine. And they will position their hands on the side of the patient's head and neck to make sure that they don't move during the extrication process. It's also good to have that calming voice in the back seat to talk the patient through what's going to actually happen. So what you're seeing now is the Glasgow firefighting crew with the assistance of the other departments. They're hooking up the vehicle extrication tools, which are run by a hydraulic generator. So again, the person in the back seat is going to tell the victim what's going to happen. We're shattering glass. We're basically getting the hood exposed, or the roof exposed, so we can take the hood right off the actual car. We're going to basically break all the glass all along the sides. We're going to actually chop the front windshield off the vehicle. We can use either an axe or a power tool or a saw. And basically what we're going to be doing is cutting along the bottom of the front windshield so that when we actually cut the posts on the vehicle, we're going to lift the whole roof of the car up along with the windshield, and we're going to take it away. And that will allow EHS to actually put the backboard under the victim, put them on a Stokes basket, and actually take them to the ambulance, which is little spinal disruption as possible. Now, depending on the situation, there may be more than one victim in a vehicle, and this process becomes critical because we have to cover the victim to make sure that the shattered glass doesn't get in their eyes or in their wounds. There may be situations where the actual dashboard of the car and the steering column is actually pressing down on the victim and trapping them in the victim. So what the fire department has to make sure, and you can see our neighboring department there, they have a charged hose line in place just in case something happens. The vehicle may go on fire. They'll be able to extinguish the fire very quickly while we're trying to get the victim out of the car. So now what you're seeing is the firefighters there, they're basically stripping the components of the posts. They're taking the rubber away, they're removing the glass, and only leaving the metal, which you can see them, they have the cutters there, which are hydraulically driven again. So now what we're going around cutting the different posts of all the vehicle, and in this case here, there's 6 pillars that have to be actually cut in order for us to take the roof off the vehicle. Now sometimes we're going to find that the tools that we bring just aren't sufficient to do the job. So in a case where the cutters may not be wide enough to cut a certain post, they may have to take 2 or 3 cuts at that. We may actually have to get a saw type appliance and cut through the post in that. And if you can imagine what the sound would be hearing metal being ripped apart as you're the victim in an accident, it would be terrifying. So we want to try to minimize as much as possible. And as you can see right now, they're cutting one of the back pillars, support pillars for the roof. And it's going to need at least 2 or 3 cuts with the hydraulic shears. Now, one of the firefighters is bringing a ladder over to actually give the firefighter a bit more reach in the vehicle. Now they're around, the last cuts usually made are the cuts nearest and closest to the actual victim. And the sound of that being so close, you can imagine the tool is right next to the ear of the victim. And it's going to be terrifying to her to have to listen to the sound of that snapping and popping. And again, the firefighters are trying to do the job as quickly as possible because we still do not know the extent of the victim's injuries. Now what you're seeing right now is that instead of taking the roof off, they decided where it is a four-door vehicle to fold the roof back and actually get it away from the victim, exposing all the area that they can possibly get for EHS to actually come in and safely do their job with the victim. So instead of taking the roof completely off, they actually put a support bar. They made a point where they're going to bend it. They lifted it right up and flopped it over the back of the car. And that is an effective rescue technique for those who do vehicle extrication. So now the victim is fully exposed. They may or may not take the side doors off the vehicle depending on how much exposure they have. They may be able to slide a backboard down under the victim and take her out safely. And you can see them approaching right now with the backboard that we have on all the fire trucks. And basically what we're going to do is put that in position, and they're going to turn the victim from the seat onto the actual support, but they're going to do it in such a manner that they're not actually causing or aggravating any neck or spinal injuries. And you can see the firefighters now carrying the actual backboarded victim from the vehicle and handing that person off to EHS. I want everybody just to remember that we're not here to lay blame. We're parents, we're responders. We have kids at these parties this weekend. We just want you to get home safe. So please, on behalf of all the first responding departments here in Pictou County, we want to make sure that you have a safe and happy graduation, and let's take memories back from 2020 that are only happy ones. Have a safe graduation, and let's not see you this way.
Congratulations to the graduating class of 2020. My name is Jennifer Sutherland.
My name is Marlon Tolba.
We are all very proud of you as you celebrate this week. Here are a few important tips that you should remember. To practice safe social distancing, monitoring your group size both indoors and outdoors, following the guidelines that are set by the province of Nova Scotia. If you are feeling unwell, please call 811 and they will give you the best advice. Always ensure that your hands are washed often. Be sure to sing your ABCs, as this is an appropriate amount of time to disinfect. Warm water and soap works best. If you're unable to use warm water and soap, use or carry a hand sanitizer and sanitize often. As you move on to the next chapter of your young adult lives, be safe, be proud, be kind, and enjoy this time with family and friends. Congratulations to you all.
Congratulations, graduates of 2020. This year has been a very different year. It's been very difficult to meet up with fellow students and friends. Our message is also a little different this year. On behalf of law enforcement agencies throughout Pictou County, we know that impaired driving by drugs or alcohol and texting and driving is one of the leading causes of motor vehicle collisions that causes serious injuries and/or death. As a result, be responsible and be safe during this graduation year.